Are you an entrepreneur or ready to become a boss? Welcome to Hawaii Boss, the business podcast made in Hawaii, where you will hear from island movers and shakers on who they are and their impact on our state. And now, step into the office of your host for Hawaii Boss, David Pettijohn.
Aloha, everybody out there, Hawaii Boss podcast listeners out there. This is David Pettijohn, your host. We are welcoming this week Muneca Harvey, and she is the owner and founder of Fit Dolls by Muneca. And Fit Dolls, if you just imagine what she does, she takes care of women specifically. She's coached men before, but she is a health and body shaping coach and helps folks get and compete. This isn't your grandma's beauty pageant anymore. This is beautiful, strong women showing off their physique and also being able to express how they support health, and they get opportunities to become brand ambassadors and things. So therefore, Muneca is very important to help folks as they prepare for a healthy lifestyle and also to promote healthy lifestyles around the world. So we're excited to hear from Muneca Harvey today.
Aloha, everybody out there on the Hawaii Boss podcast crew out there listening. We've got another awesome guest for you today. We're in the office of our friend Muneca Harvey. And who's Muneca? Well, she's actually the owner, founder of Fit Dolls by Muneca, and it's a special fitness, especially fitness and health, especially dedicated to women. She's done a lot of other things too, but we're going to talk about her and about her current work in relationship to bodybuilding and health. And Muneca, we're just excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here too. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Well, hey, we at the Hawaii Boss, we want to come into people's office like you. We want to find out you're a private business owner. Tell us a little bit about that business, and then we'll go back a little bit and say, how did you get there? So what are you doing right now at Fit Dolls by Muneca?
Okay, so I am currently located at UFC Gym Waikele.
Okay.
And that's where I do all my personal training.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, I used to do it on my own, out of my home, but I decided to go back and work for a corporate gym where I could work with a lot more people and to help them. Yeah. Sure.
And so fitness, it's not for everybody. Did you always, when you were younger, when did this first idea about fitness and health sort of innervate your life?
Okay. It's so funny that you asked because there's a funny story to it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hear it.
When I was a young girl, there was on TV, I'm dating myself here, but I'm going to say it. So there was a TV show called 20-Minute Workout.
Okay.
It was kind of girls in leotards and
leggings too, leggings and steps. Are we talking leggings and steps?
It was just a bodysuit at that time. And they're doing their aerobics workout, and it was called 20-Minute Workout. And that's where, as a young child, I was a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited to do something like that. But I was like, okay, I don't really like the aerobics part of it, but I like the way it made you feel and how it looks.
Right.
So then I got inspired by watching a show called it was called Body Shaping with Corey Everton.
Okay.
And Tiana Tom, which she's a local girl, and it was filmed on the island of Maui, and it was on ESPN, and that's where my love for bodybuilding has happened.
Okay, so now this is a little different than just women's health and fitness. We're talking dedicated professionals, because when you say bodybuilding, you're not just saying hey, I work out at the gym. It's a different process, maybe. And it's involved too. And we don't want you to give any trade secrets away, but for what reason are you training women? When you train them in this way for bodybuilding, what are they aspiring to become? What is the path for folks like this who want to explore, strengthening their body and be able to, and then have to go show it in front of other people? That's a little scary, but tell us, how you help your clients.
Okay. So a lot of them, they see Instagram, they see all these fitness girls, and they see people that are fit, and they, aspire to look like that. And, a lot of them, they start off, they're like, oh, I want to do it, not sure. And then now as they're doing it, and I got them on stage, and now they're inspiring to maybe go pro, where they can get sponsors and get paid for being in this fitness industry, and just, becoming more part of the fitness community.
Sure. And now a lot of people think, okay, it's sort of shallow. People are, bodybuilding that, it's actually a very difficult process to do it right. I mean, and I think that's what you do, is to help simplify it for people.
Yes.
Right.
I make it simple for them. I do everything for them. So I work with them with their personal training, how to work out correctly so they can build their muscle. I work with their nutrition, and also their posing, how they're going to pose when they get up on stage as well.
Sure. You see all the guys, with the guys doing it and stuff like that. But you only work with girls though, right? The guys are out there, with their muscles, and they're trying to do it all. And that's it. But the women, it's a, is it the same? Do they judge differently, women and men? Is there a whole different categories of how the judges judge, or is it the same?
Yes, there are different categories. So for females, there's bikini, and that's almost like a fitness model. So that's where a lot of my competitor girls come in, and that's the division they normally do, is bikini. So they look like a fitness model. They don't have too much muscle, but they have abs, and
right.
So they're being judged by their model walk, their presentation,
I see,
their body, everything, their hair, their makeup, overall, everything.
So is that different from a beauty pageant? Sometimes there's different, I mean, it seems like it's changed a little bit from the Miss America. It's not really Miss America anymore, or they still have that, but it's just a different venue of I guess, expressing your body shape.
Yes. So they have 10 seconds when they're on stage. So they don't have to be interviewed or anything. So when they get on stage, they do a posing routine, and it's only 10 seconds.
So 10 seconds, that's not very long. So they need to make sure they hit all their highlights to make sure the judges see it. So that's that takes a little bit of a skill to walk and do a 10-second. It seems like it's done in a minute.
So as soon as they walk to that posing box, there's a imaginary X on the stage, then they have 10 seconds to showcase their body, and then the next girl comes on the stage. So
have you had people, again, as a coach, as someone, as a mentor, have you ever had people that you've worked with that were coming completely out of nowhere? I want to do this, but I've never been on stage. This is really new to me. And then with your training have really flourished, or, at least helped them to break the ground that they've never broke before.
Yes. All of them have never competed before. So they all saw someone who have competed, and they got inspired to do it and say, well, I want to change my body. I want to look like that. And so I have I had a recent client of mine who won the Armed Forces, the overall for wellness bikini.
Oh, wow.
And she did well. And she started off bigger, and we worked really hard. And she was probably one of my competitors that worked the hardest, because she had a lot of weight to lose, but she looked amazing.
Right. So you sure you don't do guys? Because really, I think I need some help. But it's good to know that there's people out there like you. You probably have male counterparts that do the same type of thing. But it's nice that you have your own business. The pandemic maybe created some problems for folks like you, with the gyms being closed down. And did you have to go back to your old house and start, bringing clients over there? How did you respond to the pandemic? What's your life been, your business been since then, and as things are progressing out?
Okay. Yes. Glad you asked that. So during the pandemic, it was, I made a format for my clients, a program for them to stay on track. So I didn't do any online videoing type of service.
Sure.
But I was able to give them a program, and we were only closed, I think, for 4 months. And then we opened up, I think it was the end of July. And then we shut back down, we opened up for a month and a half. So a lot of my clients were excited to get back to the gym.
Sure.
So a lot of them, we, kept in contact through messaging, and everybody had to be creative with their workouts. So a lot of band workouts. So I was able to give my clients a program that they're able to do at home during the pandemic. So that worked out fine for them.
Yeah. So they're progressing, because I've kind of been using the excuse, well, this is my COVID role right here, but really you didn't have an excuse during COVID if you were working with you, because, and I think all of us had that opportunity to, it doesn't take much space to actually do your training, does it?
You're right. You're right.
A lot of people think, well, I got to go to a gym and I got to have all this membership and I got to have a, maybe, but the most important part is to know what to do when.
Yeah.
And so what do you find that people struggle with the most when they say, I'm going to do this? And then you hand them the workout plan, and then you hand them the diet plan. What's the toughest one for them? The diet plan or the workout plan?
The diet plan, of course. The diet plan is much more harder.
Because it's it's not necessarily it could possibly be a calorie restriction, but it's also you have to eat the right kind of foods. You can't mix and mingle and expect these kind of outcomes. So when they're cheating, right? When they come and get on the scale.
Oh yes.
You can't hide anything from Muneca.
Yes.
Don't even try. Don't try. Yeah. Well, and that helps too, having someone, especially I'm on my own fitness journey. I've probably in the last 2 years lost about 100 pounds.
Wow.
Hawaii helps a lot, right? Hawaii, and being outdoors and being able to, and over on the Big Island, I was on Hilo and it was raining all the time, hard to get out, but certainly in Honolulu, it gets a little bit of rain, but there's always a walking path open 24/7 and you can move if you need to. And even during the pandemic, moving is important. So
very much so.
So what are now that everybody's, kind of back on the wagon and doing their thing, are there upcoming events that you're preparing folks for, or you've had a couple events during the pandemic that you had some successful competitors out there?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that. So prior to the pandemic, I had been getting a few competitors ready for a bodybuilding show, but we went into lockdown. So all of these girls that were working very hard wasn't able to compete. So we locked down, then we reopened up, and I let them know, hey, the show is going to start up again. Wasn't too sure, but one of the promoters decided to have one of the shows in December. So out of all, I think I had about 5 girls I was getting ready at the time. Sure. And only one decided, because it was very last minute. She only had a 6-week prep when normally it should have been about a 16-week prep.
Because it all aims towards like a peak where you're at your pinnacle right at the contest date. You kind of have the date and then you work your plan back to the 16 weeks. Sounds like 4 full months of training required to be successful at. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So what happened was the lockdown discouraged a lot of my clients. And when we reopened up, they weren't too sure, were we going to have a show? It was still very undecided at the time. So one of the promoters were able to have a show. It's called Ikaika Classic, and it was held at the Hawaii Theater. So I had one client, and she stepped on stage, and there was a lot of competitors because a lot of girls were, wanting to get on stage. Sure. So she did well. She placed second with a 6-week prep. So we did good.
Right. So half the time that you normally get, and then it's still successful. That's great. Yeah.
But she was staying in shape during the lockdown, but not quite as disciplined as she should have been. Sure.
And so they hate to report off to you, don't they? Do you scold them if they don't meet their markers? How do you help someone? Sometimes they get disappointed in themselves and then they want to quit because, I can't do this. So how do you help them to come out of their head a little bit and say, no, you can, your body is amazing and you can do great things? When people kind of hit that barrier, what's your how do you help them out of that?
Yeah, glad you asked that. Yeah, I'm like their therapist too. So a lot of times, a lot of pep talks, and I said, this is not my goal. Now remember, you came to me with this goal, and I tell them, if you have one bad day, you can always just scratch that bad day and start again, because some of them will fall off the wagon. And I had a few that happened, but luckily they had good genetics that they're able. Right. So genetics plays a key factor too. So they're able to still stay on track. So a lot of them will go up and down, but I think in this sport, a lot of girls, when they come to me, they are very serious of getting on stage.
Right. They already have that goal in mind. They already know what you're going to bring to them to help them to get where they want to go already.
Yes.
But you're well known. See, that's the thing. Everybody needs to see Muneca if they want to get into that championship group over there. So it sounds like, as part of your business and health and things, stage presentation, sounds like you also had in your past as a tanning salon owner.
Yes, correct.
And so again, it seems like you've been in this beauty piece for so long. Again, some people think, oh, tanning, it's fake, whatever like that. But what are some of the benefits of tanning and especially for the line of work that you do as far as performance? How sometimes I've seen some of these big weight bodybuilders that it looks like they painted on something orange for the first,
Yes,
so so, and then it doesn't look as good. So to trying to help that body really shape and shadow well, the tan is important. So,
yes,
I mean,
that is correct.
so
Yes.
what are the judges looking for a good tan?
Okay. Yeah. So, so I think for me, having an indoor tanning salon, knowing a tan really highlights your body.
Sure.
I don't have my indoor tanning salon anymore. I had it for 2 years in a shopping center. But as we all know, Hawaii can be quite expensive in our shopping center rents. So, so with my 7 years of experience in the tanning industry, I make sure my clients do get a very good tan before they step on stage. So I have a few friends that I refer them to that are good in the industry with the spray tan. Right,
because they know what the judges are looking for. They know what you're trying to create too. So they partner with you rather than it's like, well, it's another tanning salon. It's actually a partner with you in creating these beautiful ladies on stage.
A spray tan can also, I've seen girls step on stage with horrible spray tans and it does not make them look.
Yeah, it's an immediate turnoff, I think, for a lot of folks, even with the men too. Again, when they're, they have this this raccoon thing around their eyes, it really, everyone's seen it, so they know what it looks like, but it's, but it is challenging to get that to shape your body and make it look, what's needed, but also the thrill of winning that, because it is such hard work. What are some of the folks, how far along do people go? There's this, we can win local contests, but a pathway for folks if they want to continue to show the work that they do on their body, because it's an immediate representation of what they can, the activities that they've done. And so it's really confidence building. But so now that how can they find more success in that? Where's the pathway for these contestants and models?
So pathway would be when they compete at a local show, then, if they place at the top 2 in their class, they can go off to nationals and compete at a national level. And that's when competing at a national level, if they win, then they can get more sponsors and travel. And, there's, a few percentages, I think, that able to make it a career, but a lot of people have been successful at it. So I always inspire my clients, post a lot, if you want this to be your career, that's how you gain sponsors. You develop a brand around your body image that's healthy and, and positive and that creates, but engenders more health, and that's why those companies are looking for folks like that. Because, hey, that person represents my brand really well because they're healthy, they eat right. And it's not too far off for those athletes to say, yeah, I really like this product because the product is really doing good for me and helping me. And so you create those networks. And so sometimes people don't continue as a model, but through this networking, they start to build relationships with these companies anyway. Correct. Maybe they're not sponsored, but then they start to get into the industry of and the profession of, body shaping and health. And so there's lots of other roads they can take besides just the performance aspect of it. Just like you have this certain portion that what you do to help them get there, and that's your business model. But I have to ask, were you ever a competitor? No, I was never a competitor. But again, a lot of my clients asked me that, and I was like, I have never competed before. Yeah. But again, if you know how it works, it doesn't matter if you've competed or not. If you can deliver the product. That's what I tell all of them. Right. That's right. Yeah. Hey, just because I don't have an experience and I, went to regionals or nationals or whatever like that, I still get how the business works. And that's why people come to you, because you're professional and you know this. But and I tell them, although I haven't competed, I used to run a bodybuilding show in Hawaii called the Paradise Cup. It was the most prestigious bodybuilding show at the time. And it was our friend's show. So I used to run the backstage for the females. So that's where all my experience came. Okay. So I was have to run the show. So I didn't have time to compete. I was helping run the show.
And you know what? There's always that. There's producers and then there's actors, the same thing. You know, there's always people behind the scenes making things move. The actors probably wouldn't know what to do. I'm nothing against acting, but you know, again, they wouldn't know what to do if it wasn't coordinated for them, you know, if things weren't, you know, organized for them to be able to perform. So yeah, those backstage, you know, people and that support is.
Yeah. And I'm not the spotlight. I don't like the spotlight. I'm talkative, but I don't like all that spotlight on me.
Sure. But
so
then
I enjoy getting my clients on stage and having them win. It's like, I find joy in that.
Right. Because you're helping someone else fulfill their dream. And you know, how amazing is that? You fulfill your dream by helping others fulfill their dream. Now, this contest, was it just in Oahu, this bodybuilding contest, or was it other around the islands or?
There's on Oahu and there's actually one in Maui, but they didn't have it in Maui. They brought it down just recently. It's called the Maui Classic. They had it on Oahu because of, you know, the pandemic. So we just had that show on May 8th and I had 5 competitors in that show.
How'd they do?
They all did very well.
Yeah. See, again, as they're breaking their, you know, if they're beating their goals, I think that's success. Win or lose, if they're becoming better, I think that's success. I know I spent some time on the Big Island. I know they've had some, you know, different things, car shows and then bodybuilding contests. Kind of Vic Commissario is kind of likes to put those things together over on the Big Island. But there's a lot of people over here that really enjoy the health. Again, the health and body shaping profession, but now as the pandemic's releasing, are there more people coming out of the woodwork? Are there a lot of mainland companies involved with it? Tell us how the current state is and where it's going here in the next year or so.
Yeah. So as the COVID numbers were going down, a lot of my business started to pick up because it was like everybody was anxious to get back into the gym. So I do have a lot of girls with the upcoming shows that are coming up. I have a few of them getting ready for the upcoming shows. So they're excited that we're getting back to normal, but I'm not sure if we're going to have an audience yet with the pandemic. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes that's tough. You don't get that. There's that real vibe that happens when you're in a live event, you know, people hollering and you've got your crew there, but with a camera on you and you can't hear any of the feedback from the fans or anything, it kind of makes it different. So folks have to really have it seems like a real steady ability to concentrate. Otherwise, you know, and really know themselves so they can present without a crowd.
Yeah. A lot of my girls were excited that there weren't going to be a crowd.
Oh, okay.
They were, you know, they're shy. They didn't know how they're going to be. So their family and friends could watch it. It was on a live stream. Okay. So yeah, so it was pretty interesting. There's two more shows that are coming up. So not sure if we're having an audience, but it would be great if they did have an audience because they could see what it's like to have an audience.
To feel that part. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's easy if you don't have someone, you know, but they'll probably be surprised how exciting it is too when everyone's really cheering them on and they're being, you know, applauding their all their work and heart and success. So we love to put them in that position. So for you though, again, moving forward, continuing to grow your clients base, if they want to come find out more about you, you know, Fit Dolls with Muneca, do you have a web page or someplace they go, or they just, I mean, it's easy. Go ahead.
I have my IG, my Instagram account, and it's been very successful. I get a lot of referrals that way. Okay. And it's UFC Coach Muneca Fit, and that's where they can find me. And I have a lot of videos on there, and they can see the type of training that I do, and they can see my clients, my success that I had with my clients.
Okay. Now, which UFC? All UFCs here in Honolulu, or?
No, just the Waikele.
Okay. Waikele. Okay.
So I do have clients drive out to me that are from, you know, town or train at UFC Honolulu, and they come out to me. So, which is great that people are making the drive to come out and see me.
Sure. Well, yeah. Once they know that you don't have to, maybe when you were younger, you had to go out and find them, but now that you've established some sort of success, that now people sort of come to you by word of mouth and your, like you say, IG account. Tell me how that's been for you as far as using social media and things like that. You know, from when you first started to now, you know, how much more posting are you doing on on a day, weekly, monthly? Has it changed for you?
Yeah. So at first I was really shy to post and, showcase what I do. And I just decided, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to post more, and decided to do it. And I was like, wow, what a difference it has made. A lot of my, referrals come from IG girls, that probably wouldn't want to approach me in the gym, come up, message me on IG and ask me questions. And that's how I get my business, for them to come in, and I offer them a complimentary consultation, and we go over their fitness goals. So it's been amazing. I try to post a lot. My husband always says I'm living in my phone, but that's how your business grows.
No, and that's the truth. And I know, that's for all of us. I think the digital media during the pandemic too really helped us to continue and stay connected where we couldn't have before. So it's really neat that you've been able to continue to create and help people to develop their fitness through the pandemic as they're coming out, getting ready for more shows, helping folks try to go statewide, national. Are there international types of events that you gear for?
There are international, but no, but once they go to a national show, if they win, then they can get their pro card and become a pro. Then that's how they start making money. As they compete at the pro level, they're able to make money.
So there's a pro circuit.
There is a pro circuit, yes.
And that's national and international, just depending upon where the.
The international is, I think, another. I'm not sure if that's part of the IFBB league. So, but here, if they win one of their national shows, then they get their pro card, and then their pro card, they compete certain times of the year at the pro level, and that's how they are able to make money. Sure.
So there is a real career path potential. Even the percentage though is, it's like maybe becoming an NBA player, but maybe a little bit easier than that. But still, there's a lot of ladies out there who are very good competing as well. And so it's not let's just say maybe you can tell us, is it a dog eat dog world out there? You think ladies are nice and we're fitness and we're all focused, but is the competition fierce? Are there cat, claws out, generally how does everybody take each other from different schools and different, that's so-and-so's, student over there. How does that look like?
I think everybody is really good with social media. Everybody supports each other and wants to see the best. But of course, I think each person want to win.
Right.
But for the most part, with social media, everybody's been very supportive. Very supportive.
And maybe it's behind closed doors where you have those, hey, that's going to be my competition there, boy. And then you're looking, seeing where she's at in the gym, and you try and see, oh, hey, she's looking pretty good right now. I know I got some of my work cut out for you. So there's a little bit of a intelligence going on gathering out there.
No, I do none of that. I tell my girls, we all train together, and a lot of them are going to compete against each other. Sure. So I train my clients, we all train in small groups. And so, it's become like a little community where we all support each other. And so they know that they will be competing against each other, and it makes them more competitive. So they see their competition.
And they keep each other accountable. Like, oh man, she's looking good. I got to get my work on. And no, I'm beating her today, but she ain't got a chance today. Cause I got,
they get very competitive. And I tell them, don't focus on the other girls at the other gyms, or, try just to pay attention to themselves. But at our gym with my clients, keeping them in a small group setting and having them, see their competition makes them more competitive and want to stay on track.
Right. They're sort of as a cohort group with, they're kind of working together. They keep each other accountable. They're watching out. Hey, you're making some progress there. I see that. What are you doing different? Hey, I'm trying this week. And I talked to coach about this over here and decided to cut out all my bananas. I don't know, whatever it was, Hey,
the cardio, cut out their carbs.
That's right. That's right. Hey, no fried food. You got to get that out of here, so all the little, and then over time, the whole team, it's almost like a team sport.
Yes, it's like a team.
Where they support each other and they've got each other's backs, and they can pass knowledge a lot faster if it's just, instead of just one person, there's a group of people all focused on the same goal.
Yes.
You've got this, it feels like you got this dialed in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm really loving, there wasn't anything like that at my gym where I was at. I started to do the small groups training and have them support each other, because they train with, personal training can be quite expensive when you're working with a coach, and especially seeing your coach 3 times a week, which most of my clients do. It adds up. So, and then they're getting ready for a competition, their hair, makeup, suit.
It's a real investment.
Yeah, it can add up. So when they're not training with me, I encourage them to work out together. And that's what I have built at my gym, that they all support each other, but they still see me for their training. But on days they don't see me, they train together.
Sure. Well, again, it seems like, with this method and the model, and sort of you've really dialed it in, that you'll continue to have success in this area, and hopefully other avenues as you get more clients and these contests continue to open up. Like I said, if you get tired of those ladies, I might need some help. Maybe you can refer me, because I've got things I need to do that doesn't seem to be working quite right. But again, we always need help. Someone who knows a little bit more about it than we do.
Yes.
And so I call it a health coach, health mentor. But again, it's so much more. It's like you say, psychologist sometimes. And
I've trained men before too, so I worked with men. I prefer to work with females. They're easier.
Well, we won't get too far into that conversation. That's for another half hour or hour or 2 hours or so, like that. But but I can appreciate the challenges of training anyone, because sometimes we're all a little bit we're set in our ways and trying to get out of our groove. We think we know best, but maybe if you change it just a little bit, if you listen to coach just a little bit more, and make that little tweak, then all of a sudden you see the gains, and like, oh, she was right,
Yes, that happens. Sometimes we're too far in our head, but when you see that, what do you make of it? When they start seeing the changes, I get excited for them, and it's like, see, if you just stuck with in the first few weeks of a new diet, it's tough for them the first few weeks. I would say within the month, once they start seeing some progress, then they don't want to mess it up.
Right. And it's not necessarily about the food. It's the logistics of preparing the food properly that I think people don't recognize, that it takes so much time.
It can take time, but
maybe it's for guys. It's a guy thing.
I give them a lot of guidance to how to make their prep simple. And a lot of them has actually taken it to another level, and they gotten really creative with their meal prep and get it on track. Or sometimes in the beginning, they'll start off with a meal prep service, and then they're like, oh, this can be expensive. And then they start doing it on their own. Right.
Again, it's as people build confidence, things come easier. Like, oh, as I go through my training, I know that I can do these things, and then they get more experience. So they become professionals themselves. They could actually teach what you're teaching over time.
Probably so.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. But I've given them every tool they need to get there.
Right. And well, anyway, it's amazing to see great teachers out there, such as yourself, and particularly in this, Hawaii is a great place to do it, but I think all over, we all need a little bit more concentration on health, fueling our bodies, and also, help, because it helps us with our daily mind activity too. If our body and our health is in shape, it really helps us as we try to go throughout the day. And boy, some days are tough, and it's really nice to have your body working for you at least.
Yes. And I try to teach them, you're young now, but we're all getting older, and it's good to start and have that make fitness part of your life. And so, like, for me, it's been part of my life for like 20 something years. And I just want them to have that, where they're not sedentary in their lifestyle job, and where they gain weight, and then it's harder to take it off as they age. And
it's never too late. You can always start. It's harder as you're older. It's harder.
It's harder because we're set in our ways. So it's like all these bad habits and change. Yeah. But it's never too late.
It's never too late. And maybe we can't do it all at once. We can't change everything at once, but let's just change this part of our life. Let's increase our activity by X.
Yes.
Or let's reduce this by X. Simple steps, and then add on as people are able to. And anyway, I enjoy talking about this. Again, we could probably do another hour or two here. We'd love to hear from some of your successful clients and continue this conversation, because we're glad to know that there are people focused on our health out there. But before we let you go, Muneca, we got to ask a couple of questions. It's called a little bit of a fun time. Pauhana, we ask a couple of things about you, and try to find out a little bit more. We didn't really visit at the end, so we're going to ask it now. Where did you come up? Where were you born and raised?
I was born on the island of Oahu in Waianae.
Okay.
So I'm raised on the west side. I grew up being active. Wasn't much of a sports player, dance, hula, cheerlead, always at the beach.
Okay. Well, there's lots more stories there too. But again, the beach, Hawaii has this way of attracting us to the water. And so, you know, that beautiful Waianae coast with that blue water and those warm days out there, I think it's hard to beat. A little tough to get out there with the traffic and things like that.
Yeah.
But so now, when did you move into town or closer into town?
Okay. So I would say in my 20s, I moved out of Waianae and I bought a townhome in the Mililani area. And now I am closer to Waikele Gym. I live in the Pearl City area. So yes, I've been out of Waianae for a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. And again, home is, we can always go back and visit.
I still have family out there and I'm always out there as well.
For sure. Yeah. Ko'olina, you know, is blowing up out there and all the, you know, and the east side, Eva side is all blowing up. So lots of activity out there now where maybe we didn't have before. And of course the traffic is lovely as usual as you try to get out there. But now listen, you're a health coach. You love to keep, do you have a guilty pleasure? Is there something that as far as the sweet side that you eat that maybe you won't let your contestants eat or your clients eat?
Yes, I definitely, I love donuts. I love anything sweet, anything baked. Baked goods are my favorite. Cookies, yes, cookies. They can't have none of that.
They can't, but you don't dangle it out in front of them and show them, hey, look what I'm eating.
No.
You know, you try and help them along. So that's nice. I love the little hard cookies with the cornflakes in them that they've got over down at the Aloha. Anyway, I love cookies too. You know, how can you, everyone's got their sort of thing that they're go-to if they're stressed or whatever like that, the cookies or the donuts. Like I was raised on donuts. My parents were bakers. And so I'm right where you're at with, you know, having a good maple bar now with bacon on it and stuff like that. I mean, give me a break. I mean, you know, there's lots of ways to go sideways with our health, but knowing where your weakness, I guess, is probably the most important, where you really, if you pass a McDonald's, I need a set of fries, you know, you got to start breaking those habits. And I think that's challenging, but
can be challenging.
You show them the way. So now you're having all of this success. So the last question as we kind of round up here, as you're moving forward, what would you like to tell? Maybe there's a young person out there that's coming up and that they're interested in their health. What's their first move? What's the first thing that you'd recommend maybe to a high school student, college student coming up? How do I get this health in my life?
Get your gym membership. Get a gym membership and come and see me.
Well, I always, you know, everyone's got a gym membership. It's hanging off the thing, you know, you get your fob and you go, but then it just sits there and it reminds you how often you don't go to the gym.
Yes.
So that's the first step, is getting the gym. But
speaking with a fitness professional, wherever they want to go in their fitness career, you know, if it's like working with a coach for CrossFit or getting stronger, or maybe they want to do one of those, I can't think of that they have it down Kualoa Ranch. Those, I can't think of the word. They do all those.
It's an exercise sort of program or
they compete. They go through the mud.
Oh, the Spartan race, I think it's called the Spartan race. Yeah.
So some of them have aspirations of doing that. Some of them want to compete, and I advise them to come and see a coach. You know, at UFC Gym Waikele, we have a lot of fitness coaches for every need.
Yeah, because then you can kind of start. They can kind of look at you too and look at your fitness goals and like, hey, I've got a good coach here that I think might work well with you. Because it helps you. Like, I don't know, the first step of, you know, how many of these barbell presses am I supposed to do, you know, and how often, or how much weight am I supposed to lift on this bench press here? I don't know. How am I going to get better at it? You know, it's like we go in and push weights around, but we don't know how to make them work for us.
And they can get hurt. A lot of times I have, you know, some young clients of mine who started off with a friend and, you know, deadlifting and doing their form wrong, and they got hurt. They hurt their back. So a lot of them, just getting them in to see a fitness professional is the best way.
So they know how to get the core fundamentals down first, and then you can build on it with more, explosive type exercises or more weight or different things. So
yes, exactly.
well, I'm serious. I'm gonna have to get on your IG account and see what's going on out there. It sounds like you've got lots of positive work that on display out there for the world to see. So, Muneca, we thank you for your time today. It's been real fun for me, and I hope we can, again, as your folks have success and as you continue to have success, that you come on back and let the Hawaii Boss crew know how a real boss does it.
Okay, sounds great.
Awesome,
Sounds great.
Muneca. Okay, well, until next time, aloha.
Aloha. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Make sure to subscribe to Hawaii Boss and follow us on social media at Hawaii Boss Podcast at the links in the description. We'll see you soon in the boss's office.